Welcome, Aries operators. Today we got Operation Cheap. And what I've given myself is roughly a $50 constraint. I just purchased the M4A1 Aries Full Metal M4. You could get those if you are looking closely. You could see them for sale sometimes for $130 or $140 because times have changed and Aries have moved on to newer technology. But some of these rifles are M4 Full Metal rifles have been still lingering around, and they represent a good buy. But of course, everyone wants to be competitive, but we got a budget that we have to work with. So I'll stick with my budget of $50. Like all Aries M4 rifles, they always have so-so compression. So with the full metal Aries M4 full metal rifles, because they're still using the old 15 amp micro switches, I'm not going to build really a speed build, but rather a more accurate and range build. And if you guys know by reputation, the Aries M4 A1 full metals tend to have good accuracy and range already. So what we're going to do is attack the compression side. So for my $50 build, first thing foremost is you got to get the SHS Air Nozzle. That's always been my most favorite modification of all my Aries rifles, because Aries rifles just don't come with O-rings with the air nozzle. Usually you'll see a good jump of maybe 20 to maybe even 40 FPS on the gun, but it just depends on the air seal and the length of barrel. But that is by far the best $4 or $5 mod. If you had to do, only could buy one or two items, first things first, the air nozzle. And of course, if you change the air nozzle, you have to be careful of your spring rate. As you know, these guns, the M4 full metal, tends to shoot close to 400 FPS, and your fields probably have a strict limit. So be aware, you may have to downgrade your spring. So other things, I have shims. Those are optional. Depending how the gearbox is shimmed, for this particular rifle, actually it was shimmed on the little bit on the looser side, so I really didn't need to shim this gun, surprisingly. But be careful, you might have to spend an extra $5 for the shims. Attacking the compression again, I got an Aries M4 cylinder head. It's a double O-ring one. Those will run you maybe about close to $12 from eHobby Asia. And of course, the quick change spring guide. This is the ball bearing guide. This one's also about roughly $12. But be aware, this is plastic with the ball bearings on it. So on a good day, let's see how much the costs come out to. $4. Springs are roughly $8 to $10. We'll go a little on the high side. So we've got $14 here. Maybe you have to buy a pack of shims, so that's $19. Got these things for $12 and each. So you're roughly coming out probably close to what? Let me count again. It's 19 here plus 24. So about $43. So I'm under the budget by $7 roughly. And if all things go well, you could even almost do it under 40. Now you see, a couple of side things I have. If you have the budget, a motor, be aware, like I said, the Aries Full Metal has a 15 amp switch, and the wiring is only roughly maybe a 16 gauge wire or something like that. So you're really not going to be running speed builds or anything like that. So my objective is try to save the micro switch in some ways that we don't burn it out. And 15 amps is not a lot to use. Most stock AEGs shoot right at 15 amps. So I would try and look for a high TPA motors to make it a little bit more energy efficient, so it uses less amps. This is an e-bike Godzilla 5000. That's roughly 24 TPA, but that'll cost you somewhat a pretty penny, about $44. If you want a little cheaper motor, I've seen Brill Armory offer ZCI motors, high torque motors with 22 TPA for $30. So that's another option for you. So this thing is optional. The only reason why I brought it out is because I just have too many motors laying around. So I'll put that in just for fun. But if you guys are going on the cheap side, this is the cheap side. All compression mods first and shimming to make the gun run efficiently. So I'll put it in a gearbox and see how it does.